Welcome to another episode of Democracy at the Crossroads. This time too, we'll discuss the Middle East crisis as we did in the last two episodes. We'll discuss how the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres stands tall among the array of world leaders, from Joe Biden of the US, Rishi Sunak of UK to Narendra Modi of Bharat, not to speak of a host of other Western leaders. Why does Antonio Guterres stand tall figuratively, in the company of these leaders? Because of what he said to the Security Council of the United Nations on Tuesday, which has got the goat of Israel. What did Guterres say on October 24? The Secretary General began his remarks by unequivocally condemning the horrifying 7th October act of terror by Hamas in Israel. He made a categorical assertion that hostages taken by Hamas must be freed immediately, safely, and without preconditions. After mentioning this, the Secretary General made the more pertinent point. He said, "It's important to also recognize that attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum." He elaborated it, saying that the Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation. They have seen their land steadily devoured by settlements, Jewish settlements, and plagued by violence, Jewish violence. Their economy stifled, their people displaced, and their homes demolished. This is the bitter truth which Joe Biden, Rishi Sunak, and Narendra Modi and the like are afraid to speak up. They can only see the Hamas terror, but they are blind to the Zionist terror. Our gratitude to Antonio Guterres that he had the courage of conviction to call out both Hamas terror and Israeli terror. The Secretary General did not exonerate terrorist acts of Hamas as falsely charged by Israel. He was categorical that all the grievances of the Palestinian people cannot justify the appalling attacks by Hamas on October 7. But by the same token, the Secretary General also said the appalling attacks by Hamas cannot justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people by Israel. The Secretary General mentioned how hundreds of civilians are dying in Gaza every day in the relentless bombing by Israel. How UN shelters have been destroyed. How 35 UN staffers have already been killed by the Israeli bombs in the last 17 days. What Biden's, Sunak's, and Modi's do not dare to say to Israel, the Secretary General said it boldly and forthrightly. That Israel went against the international humanitarian law when it ordered 1 million people to evacuate to the south, where there is no shelter, no food, no water, no medicine, no fuel, and then asking them to go to south, then bomb the south itself. It's a clear violation of international law of war. Speaking this up front in a world forum needs courage. That courage of conviction differentiates a tall man from the puny men like Biden's, Sunak's and Modi's, who rightly express solidarity with Israel to condemn the Hamas terrorist act, but who refuse to open their lips against Chinese terrorist activities in the last 56 years and the same terrorist activities that are continuing in the last 18 days, as seen in the massacre of Palestinian civilians. Mr. Secretary, your bold utterances come as a breath of fresh air at a time when small-time leaders are shutting up to the Zionist terrorist establishment. You have called out both the evils, the evil of Hamas and the evil of an occupying force, Israel. The world bows before you, Your Excellency, for exposing the politics of appeasement practiced by these Western leaders and their minions